Good afternoon from the Circus Sports of the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. The Vols took a tough road loss on Saturday to Florida, 91-67. Freshman Nate Ament led the way with 17 points, while the Vols got out-rebounded 41-30, and Florida shot 48% from the field. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, stayed undefeated, beating LSU 84-73 on Saturday in Nashville. 5 Commodores put up double digits, with Tyler Tanner leading the way, putting up 20 points on the afternoon. In Titans news, the team is interviewing former Falcons head coach Raheem Morris in person today and has scheduled an interview with former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel in person for Wednesday. The NFL playoffs have started off with a bang. Next week's schedule is looking like this so far. Remember, times will be released after the conclusion of tonight's game. Saturday, the Bills head to Denver to face the Broncos, and the 49ers will head to Seattle to face the Seahawks. And on Sunday, the Rams will play in Chicago against the Bears, and the winner of tonight's game will head to New England. Speaking of tonight's game, the Steelers and Texans is the final Wildcard game of the week, with kickoff set for 7:15 Central in Pittsburgh. You can listen to Westwood One's coverage of the game right here on The Zone, starting at 7 after 3HL After Party. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Indiana looks unstoppable. The Rams beat the Panthers. The Packers choke against the Bears. The Bills overcome the Jaguars. 49ers at Eagles. Jalen Hurts' magic just wasn't good enough for them. It was non-existent, to be honest with you. Chargers at Patriots was probably the most boring of the games this weekend. And I don't know if it's the combination of Greg Roman and Justin Herbert, or if it's just Justin Herbert, or if it's just the offensive line injuries. But, man, this was a weekend where you saw a lot of offenses kind of falter down the stretch of a game and kind of put their defenses in bad positions and not playing complementary football. Because the Patriots, that was felt like a beatable game at the beginning. But unlike the Chargers, the Patriots just kept finding chunk plays when they needed them, finding opportunities. And the Patriots end up beating the Chargers this weekend. Lots of football to get to, head coaching stuff. Am I being a Grinch about John Harbaugh? Let me know.
What did you say about John Harbaugh?
I just don't buy all these little news and reports that are coming out about John Harbaugh and interest in the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, we're talking about to the Titans, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I can't, I'm not going to believe it till I see it.
Have they sent, I may have missed it, have they sent him a request?
We haven't heard anything, because I think he's sending the request, which is kind of funny.
He's trying to narrow it down.
Reviewing Cam Ward's film, right?
Yeah. Well, and Jackson Dart's, every other team's film. Mm-hmm. I thought the reports over the weekend that came out got a little overblown and dramatic from a Titans perspective. Because I'm like, of course he's watching film about Jackson Dart. Of course he's watching film about Cam Ward. Of course a coach of his caliber is doing due diligence all weekend on every team.
Yeah, that was surprising. To me, that didn't say he was going to visit the Titans or not.
Right.
That was him doing his homework. It's just interesting that kind of report got out there. That meant that he wanted out there. I just think he's using the Titans actually for leverage. I really... but you never know. The Giants have probably a better team at this point in time, but how much will he have a little bit of say-so on, picking his groceries? I think that's part of this objective here. And maybe not full autonomy and control, but and then, what's appealing to him about the Dolphins or whoever else he's interviewing. Well, I think it's 3 or 4 teams. Falcons.
Yeah.
Falcons, which I would say as far as pieces, they got their defensive pass rusher, man. Pierce Jr., like I said, was a freak of nature at 10.5 sacks. You got somewhat of a quarterback with 2 players.
Yeah.
A veteran. They went 5-2 with Cousins there at the end. So, can you get by with them one more season? So they got some interesting pieces, I think. I would think he wants to be on a veteran-led team, but that in New York's not. So does money matter? I know some people saying he didn't say that he wanted $20 million a year. It was more about 15 to 20. So you just never know with the Harbaughs though.
Yeah, it's just for me. It's like I don't
think he's a good fit for here. And the reason why I say that, it's not about what he brings to the table. I'm just talking about where he's trying to go as a head coach. Where is he at in his career?
Right.
And to me, if he doesn't feel like he can fix, one side of the ball and then boom, now we're right where we need to be, kind of a la Vrabel, then I don't think it'll be interesting to him. But
Okay.
the Giants have their defense
Right.
kind of set, and then their offense, they have some decent pieces.
Yeah.
By the way, so. Is that a little more appealing now? Does he get to bring his GM or does he not?
Right. Here's something I want to throw out there because we had this kind of brought up. We had someone call in. We've had a couple people in the chat say it. F&M Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Is his family in Bowling Green, Kentucky, or Bowling Green, Ohio? And that's the question everybody's asked.
Because some people are saying he was in Ohio because the Browns are interested in him.
Right. Well, Bowling Green, Ohio is where him and his wife met, where they kind of raised a family and all that kind of stuff. Now, there's also, I know that starts with an M, but there's also a city in Wisconsin that they're constantly linked to as well. And it's not Milwaukee. Yeah. But
I know that Dan started his coaching career in Bowling Green, Kentucky. There,
I know he was at WKU, but I have heard a lot of people say that it's actually Bowling Green, Ohio. Yeah. And so that's where I caution, because everybody's like, well, he coached at WKU. Well, he also coached at Bowling Green of Ohio. He also, all the kids were born, I believe, in Bowling Green, Ohio, and I think they still have a house there and all that kind of stuff. Not sure. I couldn't find anything definitive one way or the other. The internet was very unclear about where he was at, but I did not find a definitive article. I found more stuff saying they lived in Wisconsin or Bowling Green, Ohio, than did Bowling Green, Kentucky. So I just want to throw that out there.
Did you find anything on Bowling Green, Kentucky?
Just other than he coached there.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't think.
So that's what Google kind of showed me, and that's what Wikipedia articles I've read. It's just I never could find definitively.
That's why I was a little miffed when they said that. I knew he did coach there. I remember when Jim was there, he also had a Nike contract, and then he brought his sponsorship to his dad's team there, the quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, and to sponsor their team and got them a Nike deal.
So we heard on Friday on this show, we played the clip from Tony Grossi, that's a Cleveland reporter, that said that he wanted $20 million a year, $10 million for his staff, full roster control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is from Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports. It says, reports of Harbaugh's demands are inaccurate. According to a source with knowledge, Harbaugh will command a high salary base simply off his resume. Makes sense. And some level of roster say is inherent in attracting a coach of that caliber. But a demand of $20 million in salary and full roster control are not required to land Harbaugh's services.
So I'm about to ask you,
how
does the other report come out if it's not true?
Well, I wonder, because it's something that we didn't really ask.
This is what makes me always question about when even vetted guys now, by the way, because they have to answer to certain people and they're just reporting what was told to them. And sometimes I say, do you deduce and say, but that doesn't make sense, and you still report it?
Yeah.
Or do you second and third vet it? Verification.
Well, and also, is that what he demands of Cleveland? Because Tony Grossi is a Cleveland reporter. So is that what he's saying from Cleveland he needs to come to that situation, but he doesn't need that at other situations?
Well,
I think he did not clarify. I think that's a valid question.
Right, that is.
Yeah.
Well, I was referencing them. But then he changed the narrative a little bit because guess what? Oh, the Giants and the Titans have GMs. And the Falcons just hired a GM as well, right?
Right. No, the Falcons
the Dolphins did. I'm
sorry. Did. And I think the Falcons did they hire Ian Cunningham? I saw something today that made me, I don't remember them announcing.
They hired
they had Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
But I don't remember hearing them announce Ian Cunningham. It sounded like someone, I think Breer had wrote something about Ian Cunningham and John Harbaugh's connection with the Ravens. But I don't know if that was just a connection or if that was him kind of saying that that's who they're going to hire. Not for sure, but
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so you just never know. I think he's trying to open that pool because he's realizing teams that he probably would be interested in probably can't facilitate all the things and those requirements. And maybe, to your point, maybe the Browns could, let's get back to the Ravens there twice a year. So they know him pretty well. With going to like a team like the Giants or the Titans or a team like that or Falcons, where, there's, limitations on some of those requirements. So did he change it and twist it a little bit? Maybe he did say that at first, and then he was really referencing the Browns.
Yeah. Okay. We got a little bit of clarity on the Pat McAfee, or from the Harbaugh situation where his family lives. Pat McAfee said his parents are 60 miles out of Cleveland. Now, it's not exactly 60 miles, but I will tell you this. Bowling Green, Ohio is 126. Bowling Green, Kentucky is 516 miles driving. Now, as the crow flies, it may be 60 miles, that. So I'm leaning towards Bowling Green, Ohio is where they're really from, which maybe then that puts that into Cleveland's thing, but maybe he needs all that stuff to go to Cleveland. So I wouldn't blame him for needing all that stuff if he were to go to Cleveland. Would I be willing to give him all that stuff? Me personally, I think would be a discussion about what is full roster control. I'm not too worried if I'm a millionaire. I'm not a multi-hundred millionaire or whatever the net worth of Amy Armstrong is. I wouldn't be too worried about paying the $20 million. Right? Yeah, billionaire, whatever. I don't know what her actual cash situation is. Right. But I would definitely be willing to pay whatever to get John Harbaugh here. But I do think there would need to be a conversation of what is full roster control, what's the definition on his end, and all that kind of stuff. But it would be hard for me not to trust John Harbaugh's football instincts. John Harbaugh's football knowledge, on the outside looking in, I would say would far surpass Mike Bergonzi's football knowledge. But there's two different things, right? There is coaching a roster and building a roster. Mm-hmm. And I do think those are two different skill sets.
They are.
So that's why the conversation
people
would have
always
to be
combine them and assume that you're good at both.
Right.
That does not mean that. I mean, you can pick your groceries because you're maybe not good at it because you can't spend that kind of time with a coach. So, you're the one coming up with the X and O's and the game plan and how to lead this team. That doesn't mean you can't pick some players here or there.
That'd be like telling a GM, you can have full X's and O's control.
Right. Watch this. Do you think Mike Tomlin has full roster control of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yes. Now, is it laid out in his contract that way? Maybe not. But don't you think that you're probably leaning on Mike Tomlin a lot?
I think we're making a huge assumption. And that's just me.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm just not a guy that makes assumption because a guy of his ilk, why would he go this long without a quarterback?
Okay, that's true.
And so that tells me that he maybe doesn't have the caveats and the say-so like we all think he should.
Because to be honest...
Because, this is like 3 or 4 years in a row. Like, who does that?
Because up in Baltimore, you have Ozzie Newsome and Eric DeCosta, two of the most well-respected and talent evaluators in all of the NFL. And I would say Ozzie Newsome's probably one of the best talent evaluators in NFL history. Yeah. And so they're probably like listening to Harbaugh, but not doing what Harbaugh says. Now, maybe that's what's kind of created this friction over the years. I don't know. I mean, that's just conjecture.
I have no idea.
But again, it's kind of like Brian Callahan, right? Brian Callahan thought he could be a head coach because he's been around so many head coaches. He thought he could be a head coach and a play caller because he's been around a guy that has done that. He thought he could develop a quarterback as a head coach and as a play caller at the same time, be three different things because he's been around good quarterbacks. I trust that John Harbaugh knows what good football looks like, knows what the makeup of a good player is, but it is an entirely different thing to be able to watch film and be a head coach, to watch all the film required to be a roster evaluator and still be able to game plan and do everything you have to be as a head coach. So it's two different skill sets. And just because John Harbaugh was around Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta, and the Ravens and what they did, he definitely learned some things, but doesn't mean he can do those things.
Right.
And that's where I think, to your point, it kind of the lines get crossed when you're talking about full roster control and all that kind of stuff.
So him and Tomlin didn't have.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, I would definitely.
You thought Tomlin did, but I don't think
I would think that the Ravens have such a good system that he wouldn't. Yeah, like you don't just screw the system around. Like it's like, okay,
no doubt.
wouldn't you say that Andy Reid likely has a heavy hand?
I would say so.
And so, but I would say that Howie Roseman now has the heavy hand up in the Eagles.
Right.
Like, I don't think Nick Sirianni's there, but I think Andy Reid has that in Kansas City. So, like, every situation is a little different. But I would say more often than not that the GMs are in control no matter who the head coach is. Kyle Shanahan would be an exception, obviously. It seems like he kind of steers the ship from all the reports that we've heard over there, for better or for worse. But most instances, it's the GM running the show, and I think that is the proper way. It's the reason why I kind of go a little old school on this is because it's been that way and that successful of a way for a reason, and that the outliers are very few and far between.
No, that's why I agree with that. And that's why I keep watching because, naturally Tomlin, I'm bringing him into this picture, gets the blame for them just, always getting beat in the first round of the playoffs. But he's not really picking his players. How much so does he, really have in this meeting? He may have an opinion, but is he getting to pick his guys?
Because if you remember,
I don't think so, especially when we start talking about the quarterback. There's no way you've been that good. Then you go, I don't get to pick my quarterback after Roethlisberger retired. And you had multiple years because he hung on there for the last 2 years. You could have drafted a quarterback then.
We'll go back to the Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett draft. That he was all about Malik Willis, essentially. Now, maybe that's a smokescreen.
It may have been.
But, I mean, like, that whole entire thing was like, here's me and Malik Willis at a steakhouse in Pittsburgh, and here's this, and here's stuff we've never seen Pittsburgh do. We've never seen Pittsburgh be that forward about courting a quarterback. And it seemed like Tomlin was pretty gung-ho about Malik Willis, and all of a sudden you got Kenny Pickett. Now,
maybe
I'm
he
sure
liked Malik Willis, and maybe they like Kenny Pickett.
At some point, maybe we'll hear the story of how that all went down. But to your point,
it's like,
I mean, how much control does Mike Tomlin have? And I'm sure he has like, okay, here's the 53 players that I need.
All right.
But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty cuts, roster decision, free agent decisions, how much of his opinion is factored in, right? Like, that is the question. And I think here I would greatly lean on John Harbaugh, but giving him that much power without proof, it's like it's not the same because obviously John Harbaugh has been a way more successful head coach for longer time. But it's like when Mike Vrabel wanted all that roster control before he left. He wanted more and more and more. Well, you hadn't earned it. We don't know you can do it. And that's the kind of situation.
He didn't earn it with Coach of the Year?
No.
Twice?
No.
This is why it's so vitally important with the GM and the head coach relationship.
Right.
And that, to me, is going to be the sticking point, at least to me, with the Titans. I don't know how much Bergonzi knows him, but if they do know each other, or at least of each other, if cross paths, that kind of helps. At least you know somebody. But working with somebody is totally different than knowing somebody. And I don't see Harbaugh. I don't know, man. I would be stunned if he did that with the Titans. But you just never know in this day and age, though. What if Amy puts all the chips there and gives him all that he wants?
Well, I wouldn't put it past that happening, right? Like, but then that's technically what, your fourth or fifth power hierarchy change if you're suddenly bringing in Harbaugh and he's above the general manager and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you didn't know he was going to be available.
It didn't. That's true. That's true. Let's talk more about that when we come back, because I do think that the Titans have an interesting connection to John Harbaugh, obviously, but also to a lot of these general manager or head coaching candidates. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Naturally, the holiday season is over, but around that midsection, the weight loss is needed. And Edge Peptide Hormone Therapy is a little bit different when it comes to that. We make sure all your patients have extensive lab work and face-to-face conversation in office with our nurse practitioner to create a customized treatment plan tailored to your specific needs. They use only U.S.-based FDA-audited compounding pharmacies because knowing where your peptides come from always matters. Get to enjoy access to their in-body scanner to track weight loss and make sure you're maintaining all that muscle mass, of course. Get to lower your A1C, keeping your cravings in check as well, and prioritizing protein and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. So call the team at Edge Peptide for all your wellness questions at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878 or online at edgepeptide.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike in Nashville, who wants to talk about Amy and Harbaugh. Mike, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Give us some intel.
I think the only way that we actually get Harbaugh is, I think let me back up. In the past, Vrabel wanted total control. You noted that, and she said no. So she's already kind of against that, giving someone total control. But since then, the one thing I feel she didn't like about Vrabel is how abrasive he was. Well, John Harbaugh is going to be abrasive. He knows how to win. He's got a system, and he wants to have decision-making on players. Well, to take the abrasiveness out of it, you just give him total control because the only person he could argue with then is himself. So that might be the only saving grace we have to get Harbaugh, because other than that, she's going to want to hire a pleaser and somebody who just keeps everything kumbaya in the office.
Thanks, Mike, for that. I mean, it's hard to kind of disagree with that. I think that ultimately it's going to be about Borgonzi. Now, obviously, he has to get the stamp of approval by the owner, who is cutting the paychecks and all that kind of stuff, obviously. But I do think that the guy that's going to be dealing with the head coach the most is Mike Borgonzi. And I think that is more important right now, to be more concerned about what he is looking for, what the inner workings, teamwork, the working philosophy for them two is probably a little bit more important than using Amy Adams-Strunk's relationship with Vrabel as a real, I guess, main driver in this coaching search.
Well, that's why it's always interesting, especially if an owner comes in at, I guess the last couple of interviews with the last couple of candidates or so, and then has an opinion, and then it's hard for everybody else to kind of speak up what they want because she's already spoken, or vice versa. They go first, and then she's kind of leaning in a different direction. Right. When the most important relationship is actually the GM. Now, there's no doubt the owner make all the decisions, but you're the ones going to be collaborating and working with each other throughout this time. And you want to make sure that you're on the same page. So whoever you think you can have the best working relationship should be the winner, after checking all the boxes of everything else. So, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Borgonzi's going to be. And I feel like he did at least a solid job with his first draft. So let's see if he can do it again with a coach added to that, and what scheme and system kind of fits to model what they already have, and then can add to that. You can be right back in the hunt. I mean, literally within a season. We just saw the Jaguars do it.
Oh, I mean, how many teams went worst to first this year? Mm-hmm. I think it was 3 or 4. It was like it was an insane amount. I believe the Bears.
Oh yeah,
they were worst to first. The Patriots, the Jaguars, they were worst to first in their own division. I feel like I'm missing another one, but I mean, at least 3. That's still 3 more than what you usually have. Usually it's just like one team. But this is 3 teams minimum. Panthers, were they the worst last year in their division? The Panthers? I think so. So that would have been 4 right there. So, I mean, it's something like right now in the NFL is that you can turn it around with the right hire and the right working relationship. If you don't have a GM and a head coach on the same page in the same in the same direction, then it wasn't the Jags. Jags did not go worst first. We were the worst last year.
That's right.
We were first. Same principle though, of like a bottom team making up to
top. Titans were the worst. Right? I just erased last year from my mind.
They won 4 games. Jacksonville did.
Yeah,
I mean they still were a pretty bad team.
Yeah,
but, man. That's what I've been saying the whole time. I mean, I think everybody else, you too. I mean, Ross, this is a tough call.
It's made a little easier, I feel like, with the coaching pool getting a little bit more, I guess, crowded with guys that have done it before, or at least have shown the talent to be a head coach. But I still think it's a tough decision to make, because even if you were to go with a Mike McDaniel who has an X's and O's system that would fit Cam Ward, I mean, it's Shanahan, but it ain't. It's really like he's an acorn that fell off the Shanahan tree and sprouted his own tree. It feels like. You still have lingering questions.
About him for head coach?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You still have lingering questions about him as a head coach in culture, leadership, leading a team, communicating with a team, buy-in and all that kind of stuff. Like those questions still linger, even though he was above 500, even though it was only about 2 games down in Miami. And there are a lot of mitigating circumstances down in Miami, a bad GM, a quarterback that I don't even know what happened with Tua this year as far as the way he was acting in press conferences and stuff. But you still have questions about him. I think there's less questions with John Harbaugh and Mike McCarthy, but you still got questions about where do they want to be in their coaching cycle? Like what team in their coaching life cycle, is this the right team for them?
Well, you talked everything about him as a play caller, offensive driven, which I love it. But is he a leader of men?
Yeah, exactly what I said. Yeah.
I mean,
those are the questions.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I mean, you hear good things and then you hear bad things about all of that there. Is he a great motivator? Is he? I heard that he's really upfront and honest. I think athletes appreciate that. But is he also going to hold you accountable in those tough times?
Right.
When things start, getting off the wheel there. So, those are the things that they got to ask, and they got to have a good feel and doing their homework, not just asking these guys, but also doing their homework.
Yeah.
Which we would never know unless some player came out. And then some player from the Dolphins came out and said that he was a great leader.
Teron Armstead, I believe, is who you're referencing. Unless there's 2 other players, which could be a good thing. But Teron Armstead was the one that I saw float around this weekend on the clips. Mm-hmm. And I do think the Titans are kind of at a pretty big advantage. Now, this is not to say that other GMs don't have the same distinct advantage that they have. But like the Titans head coaching committee of, Mike Bergonzi, Dan Sagany, Reggie McKenzie, Chad Brinker, and Dave Ziegler, they all have direct working knowledge of some of these guys as head coaches, some of these guys as retread coaches, right? They came into their organization after being a head coach. You look at Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy. Mike Bergonzi would know those 2 guys intimately better than most people would. Stefanski, Dan Sagany was there all during when he was hired. Kevin Stefanski was hired all through the Deshaun Watson stuff. I mean, Dan Sagany joined the Titans in 2025, so he knows intimately about Kevin Stefanski's time in Cleveland, what's true, what's not. Mike McDaniel, Reggie McKenzie would know the answers to the questions we have about his leadership style because he was down in Miami. Like he was down there as a football executive, and he would know what the players think and all that kind of stuff about Mike McDaniel. He saw it up close. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Mike McCarthy has experience with both Chad Brinker and Reggie McKenzie. Those guys know him as a head coach in Green Bay. They know what he's about. They know what was Aaron Rodgers, what was Mike McCarthy. Like that's a pretty big leg up for at least the Titans in their head coaching search, that if they were to choose one of these guys, not saying that they should or that they will, but if they were to choose one of these guys, it wouldn't be without really good references, in other words.
So we got McCarthy, Spags, McDaniel, and Nagy.
Yes, and Stefanski.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why to me, and like I know y'all.
To me, these guys are the leading candidates because I'm big on, kind of having a relationship, knowing what you're getting, because I think that's the kind of situation you're really in, because you don't want to miss instead of going out on a limb. So you go to your comfort level when you're making this decision. You may go with somebody you know. Some may go outside the box, but I think these guys right here, in my opinion, would probably be the leading candidates right now. Things change as you go along because somebody can wow you in an interview process, and then you figure out, hey, maybe we could this guy right here, or Amy comes in and likes somebody outside of this, right?
Maybe that's why Clint Kubiak's not getting an interview, because Dave Ziegler was around Clint Kubiak last year in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's the reason why, a lot of people have asked, why isn't Clint Kubiak getting one? Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe he already saw enough that says 1 year is not going to really make a difference.
He's not quite ready yet.
And to be honest, let's go back to John Harbaugh. I mean, I'm sure if anybody can find out all the information you need on John Harbaugh, just in case you missed the last 18 years of football, Andy Reid, Mike Bergonzi, I mean, it would be pretty easy to make that connection and be able to figure that out. But I think I think the reason why, because the reports were that, he's watching the film, he's going to narrow down, every team's contacted him, he's going to narrow it down to 3 to 4 teams. He's narrowing it down because every team wants him, because they know what John Harbaugh's resume is. And I think that's just, smart on his part. I mean, you don't want to waste everybody's time. So I thought we were going to get an announcement by now of the 3 to 4 teams he picked up. So I don't know how long he's milking it or whatever. But again, I do believe the Titans have a pretty good idea. Like if Kevin Stefanski doesn't make it, for example, to the next round of interviews, even if there is going to be a next round of interviews or whatever, if he doesn't make it to the next round of interviews, I think you've found out everything you need to know about Kevin Stefanski in the eyes of the Tennessee Titans.
I'm going to ask a ding-dongery question. Do you hire Harbaugh, any organization, not just the Titans, but he's never called plays on offense or defense?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I just asked.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That would not matter to me at all.
The GM thing, if that's true, is more of a that would matter to me. Because like if I'm a team like Atlanta, I don't have a GM right now. I could be like, hey, we bring Harbaugh in. He can pick the GM, and that's what he wants. We get Harbaugh, but for us, it's like, do we really want to mess up what we just set in stone a couple weeks ago? No, we really don't.
Yeah,
because you also got Todd Monken, as a potential head or offensive coordinator for your team. And I do think Todd Monken, the way that he coaches, I have no quarrel about or qualms about Cam Ward and Todd Monken being able to work together and be productive in an offensive system. And the same with the defense is like, I mean, he outside of maybe Zach Orr, he has a really long list of potential defensive coordinator candidates he could pull from. He may even keep Denard Wilson for better or for worse. He's worked with Denard Wilson.
Reason why I asked that question, because if you go down the road of John Harbaugh and you're the Titans and you give him all this massive control and massive money, soon something goes wrong, he can say, okay, I'm going to let that guy go. Well, who's going to call plays?
Yeah.
See, now you got to go back and ask somebody else to call plays. You got to go hire another person. Because it can happen after 1 year, or they leave on their own to take a head coach job, whatever it may be. So, that's kind of why I'm asking that question in the backdrop.
I mean, that's a good question to ask, I think. Because if you're going to have that same concern with the defensive coordinator position, like a defensive head coach, the constant rotating of offensive coordinators, then John Harbaugh could feasibly have that same question. Now, he's been pretty good about keeping guys employed for a long time, but that doesn't mean they don't get hired elsewhere. That doesn't mean that, okay, Todd Monken, things kind of went weird in Baltimore between Todd Monken and some players or whatever the case may be.
Though, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the real issue is over in Baltimore. I still, after reading all the articles that came out over the weekend, I'm still very confused of what the real issue is. But like if he kind of starts failing here with Cam Ward right out of the get-go, you may be looking at a different offensive coordinator. He may, and if he has a lot of success, he's interviewing for the Browns job, right?
Yeah.
He'll be interviewing for a head coaching job next year. So I do agree that there is the same concerns that you would have about a defensive coordinator being hired as head coach, the constant turning of offensive coordinators. That's a real concern with John Harbaugh as well. Because even if he goes back to, I was looking at it today, Matt Weiss, who's the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator, was at Michigan. I don't know if he still is going to be. But he has been one of a Harbaugh guy at the Baltimore Ravens for forever. But he's a young guy. If he were to get hired as offensive coordinator, probably wouldn't be long, kind of like Jesse Minter, that you would be having him be getting interviewed for head coaching jobs.
Yeah.
So that is, I mean, it is the thing. So far, we've had multiple reports come out over the weekend that seems to be like the two big ones for John Harbaugh are the New York Giants and Atlanta, but everybody has mentioned the Tennessee Titans. We'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans when we come back, and we're going to go to Gorilla, Brian, and Bam when we come back as well. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Want to know about a place where European auto repair doesn't feel like auto repair? Hey, it's Blaine Bishop. Tell you, the moment you walk into Eurofix, you'll notice Eurofix is not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms, they're clean, comfortable, and inviting. Service areas are spotless, by the way. And why? Because Eurofix cares about everything from how you are treated to how your vehicle is treated. And every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs that Eurofix performs, and at below dealer pricing. And you don't have to put up with dealer prices or get ghosted when you're waiting for a call back. And oh man, I'm always on edge about that. And Eurofix fixes everything European, plus a rental car is available with every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet, and more to come. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Stores, 615-737-1037. 1045 is the number. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Gorilla in Nashville. Gorilla, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
What it do, fellas? What it do?
Hello.
What's going on?
Check this out, man. All right, I got one for you, man. First off, the last caller before me, I'm going to have to tell him, man, let's keep our mouth off of Mike Vrabel. Y'all didn't see the stray that we took last night when they were talking about Mike Vrabel leaving the Tennessee, the Titans, and I mean, we took a major stray last night with the broadcasters. I thought that was it was very embarrassing, hurt my feelings. But anyway, I say that Mike was a top of the line coach, guys, and here we are again. We're chasing the dollar that we've already spent. I can remember at one point in time talking with Baltimore fans when we were owning Baltimore on how they wasn't really feeling John Harbaugh. That John Harbaugh just didn't have dogs out there like the old Ravens teams were. I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Stefanski. What do you think about that right there, Blaine? I mean, I really take your advice on that.
Oh.
All right, thanks, Gorilla. Oh, sorry.
Zach's the guru on the coaches. I don't know much about Stefanski. All I can do is look at how he won, in a tough environment there. But he had Baker Mayfield, and all of a sudden that party didn't work for a while. So I think he's kind of a guy who, when things are going good, probably things are great, but when they're not, so then I would question his ability when things get tough. How does he manage that, especially – you're looking at this whole Shador situation and what was his involvement and all that. I would want to know that whether that impacts our team or not. I want to know what kind of person he is. I'm real big on chemistry. That's what I was going to say. Chemistry and people. If you're in the business of sports or whatever industry you're in, if you're pretty good at it and you get an interview at this point in time with 32 opportunities and only so many open at this point in time with 7 or 8, you know what kind of work it takes, and eventually you should be able to figure it out. But I do want good people and quality people in my organization if I'm an owner. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. So I want to ask him those kind of questions. I want to know about the rumors that, because your wife's dad got, thrown over a bucket of Gatorade by Deion Sanders. Did you hold that against Shador all these years? And is that why you treated him that way, or was it just what you thought was earned? And did he even have a shot at even being on the team? And what was your involvement in the draft process? What did you think of him coming out? We all know what we all thought and where he should be ranked. Where did you rank him? Obviously, you ranked him below Dylan Gabriel. So maybe he's not a good assessor. Maybe he's just a good play caller. Maybe he has great leadership skills. So I want to find out his strengths and weaknesses and let him kind of own up to what he is. Anybody in that interview process. But it's going to start with the people. I'm going to take a better person than a better X and O's guy. That's just how I went. I'll live and die on that sword.
I think that is the way to hire a head coach. I think the X's and O's, you can hire as a head coach guys who can supplement the X's and O's. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to hire a guy to supplement the people person, the leadership, and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I've landed going through these last 2 years since the last coaching search, talking to you, talking to the listeners, and kind of reading and all this kind of stuff is you can find X's and O's guys all day long. But finding the guys that can handle the pressure, that can handle the multiple tasks that aren't just X's and O's,
right?
And handle the difficult times in a game.
You would think Stefanski, I feel like he's done pretty decent at most of that.
And then you hear stuff that comes out from the players. They're saying the same thing that they want in the next head coach that the Titans players are saying after getting rid of Brian.
But how much thought do we put into what an actual player says?
I don't know.
Do they actually really know? Or do they know? It depends on who it comes from. Now, if it was Myles Garrett and not a first or second year player, then now we're talking about, okay, let's listen to hear what he's kind of saying here.
Yeah.
So I just think that every coach that I'm bringing in, I'm going through that kind of process. But he is proven in this league, man. I have to give him that. I'm not sure if I'm really excited about his offense. What would you say his offensive style? What's his background?
Under center, Gary Kubiak. So he's a Kubiak guy. So it's under center, play action run game. And
that's
he
exactly
is
what I see.
pretty adamant about being under center too.
Right. So is that a good match for Cam
I don't
Ward?
think so. He's not
as much as he's trying to do.
right.
Not
I think,
consistently, probably.
Yeah. I would say that Cam Ward in maybe 3 or 4 years may be that guy. Maybe a better fit. But, I mean, if you're trying to get him to be that guy in year 2, I don't think that's going to work. And I think that's the issue you have in that particular situation is that if you're trying to maximize as quickly as possible Cam Ward's talents, Stefanski's not the way I would roll.
Would you be patient as an owner if you think it would take a year or two with Stefanski as far as his system? Now, it's not to say, I'm not equating it to win.
Right.
Let's just say you're middle of the road. You win like 6, 7, 8 games or 9 or whatever it is over 2 years. Then all of a sudden he takes up because then he's finally bought into all the things and the benefits to this system.
It's a funny question because you're asking if I would be patient as an owner when we have seen that the actual owner is not that patient.
A lot of owners are impatient.
Right.
But we don't know what they told them ahead of time.
Yeah.
See, and that also plays into some of those decisions, I think.
Yeah.
Regardless if, they believed them or not.
I don't know if Stefanski's system is such a force multiplier that I would be willing to even take that chance. Now, if it was Kyle Shanahan or something like that, then maybe I would take that chance because, I mean, I know that system can rack up points.
You would.
Yeah, LaFleur, I would. Like McDaniel.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, McDaniel's system will fit right out of the gate.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. I think it can fit, but man, I worry about the cliff, like the cliff.
I'm telling you, too, I worry about the fact that Cam's not a running quarterback with Cliff Kingsbury because that's what works with him in the National Football League, or what it has worked with him.
Absolutely great.
I mean, isn't that crazy?
Cam Ward is probably an average athlete at quarterback.
I don't know if I said this on this show Friday.
What's that?
But did you know that this year Washington ranked 9th in rushing attempts, but ranked 25th in rushing attempts by running backs?
What?
Now, obviously, there's Deebo Samuel there and other receivers and stuff, but I mean, just think about that. They are 9th in team rushing attempts, 25th in rushing attempts by running backs on their roster. That is a huge disparity in rushing attempts between running backs and other positions.
How many interviews does he have?
I think 3 or 4. I'll have to look that up.
He just did Ravens today, I believe.
Yeah, he did Ravens today.
Which, I mean, that would be great for him. Lamar Jackson in his offense? Are you kidding me?
No, that would fit him, because he can run around too.
When the Commanders were doing well last year, Jaden Daniels run all over the yard and throw in. When the Cardinals were doing well, Kyler Murray was running all over the yard and throwing when he had to. Like, he's got Marcus Mariota out there, and I know they had other injuries, but Marcus isn't that guy anymore.
Right.
And it just didn't work out.
Yeah. So do you say if you don't have a running quarterback, eventually that guy's going to get injured? Does your system really work at all? Really?
Because that would be my concern with Lamar Jackson, right? I was talking to Bird about that. I was like, man, you would think that would be a super fit. But how long does it last? Because Lamar Jackson's already been injured. Yeah. And, you're going to ask him to do more? I don't know.
Well, with us, it's like if that happened to Cam, if we tried that and Will Levis is our backup, that's not going to go well with Will Levis in that system at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, when you go and look at it, just go and look. Would you have ever believed?
That's alarming there.
Well, that's the key.
That should resonate with a lot of these owners. They can not know ball, but that stat right there is just.
But how many people know that stat?
Ooh.
That
you got to
is
be
an
able to run the
insane
football
stat.
to a certain extent in the National Football League.
Right. And you got to do it with your running backs, not your quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's unless you got 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, it didn't matter if Jaden Daniels was in there, Kyler Murray was in there, Marcus Mariota was in there, Josh Johnson was in there, Colt McCoy. Those guys were rushing the football. Dang. That's just how this system works in the NFL level. And that's how it worked with Texas Tech. 121 carries, true carries by Patrick Mahomes in both his years at Texas Tech. 121. Now, I know college is a little bit different, but there's also a reason he never really won in college.
Dang.
Just think about that.
was a
And
shocker
remember
when he
what
got hurt.
everybody said about Patrick Mahomes as a draft prospect with Cliff Kingsbury, the quarterback guru. Raw prospect, has a lot of work to do, footwork, blah, 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 blah. Like, he was not necessarily a refined product coming out of college. And a lot of dings. And his coach was Cliff Kingsbury. I'm Cliff Kingsbury's kind of in that Kevin Stefanski tier for me. It's like, I just don't really want to take the chance. I understand everybody's appeal. I understand where the fans are coming from. I just don't want to take that chance. That's just me, though. All right, coming up next, let's go to Derek and Bam. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Zach Lyons. If you wear glasses, you already know the struggle. I'm constantly looking for them, waking up blind without them, knocking them off the nightstand. And don't even get me started on vacation. Swimming, forget it. Fogging up, smudges, scratches. My whole day revolves around these things so that I can see. And the truth is, I've been dealing with blurry vision for years. Glasses help, but they're also a hassle. And lately, I've been seriously thinking there has to be a better way. That's when I started hearing from colleagues here at Cumulus who had vision correction done by Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. And every single one of them said the same thing. They wish they had done it sooner. So I did my homework. I read the reviews and decided it was time. I'm going to have my vision corrected by Dr. Horn at the end of February, and I'll walk you guys through the experience step by step before, during, and after. If you're tired of dealing with glasses, contacts, or blurry vision, don't keep putting it off. Call Vision for Life at 615-436-2020 or visit visionforlife.com to schedule your consultation. I'll keep you posted, and trust me, I'm excited to finally see clearly.
Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. The Vols took a tough road loss on Saturday to Florida, 91-67. Freshman Nate Ament led the way with 17 points. However, the Vols got out-rebounded 41-30 and allowed Florida to shoot 48% from the field. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, stayed undefeated, beating LSU 84-73 on Saturday. 5 Commodores put up double digits, with Tyler Tanner leading the way, scoring 20 points on the day. In Titans news, the team is interviewing former Falcons head coach Raheem Morris in person today and has scheduled an interview with former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel for Wednesday. The NFL playoffs have started off with a bang. Next week's schedule is looking like this so far. On Saturday, the Bills will head to Denver to face the Broncos, and the 49ers will play in Seattle. On Sunday, the Rams will head to Chicago to play the Bears, and the winner of tonight's game will head to New England to face the Patriots. Speaking of tonight's game with the Steelers and Texans, that is the final wild card game of the weekend. Kickoff is set for 7:15 Central in Pittsburgh, and you can listen to Westwood One's coverage of the game right here on The Zone starting at 7 after 3HL After Party. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to Bam, who's been holding patiently on the line. Bam. You're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's good, fellas?
What's up?
You got it, bro.
Man, I'm just like, it's kind of
Spinning?
funny to see how. Hello?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny to see how we kind of been going around the carousel of not being included in the Harbaugh stuff, and now we are. And I'm just kind of like, okay, you don't get your hopes upon it, but it all in a different perspective. But my question to y'all is, after, let's just say the Texans win tonight, and they let go of Tomlin, is that something, do you think they'll kind of pull the reins back to try to go that route as well, too? Or, like, because this is becoming a little bit of a, let's just wait and see how everything else pans out. So I just wanted to know y'all's opinion on that. And do we possibly get a, Harbaugh requesting to talk to the Titans this week? If Tom, like, all the different choices like that, do you think any of that is realistic, or where y'all at on that? So that's what I just wanted to know from y'all.
Thanks, Bam. Here's where I'm at Harbaugh. Until I see it, I'm not believing any of this
I'm right
stuff.
there with you on that one.
Because as soon as I buy in, I'm going to get my heart broken.
Yeah. I think, till I see him come on a visit. That's why I said, is he visiting?
Yeah.
Then now I'll start having, expectations and hope and belief.
So do you believe if he comes on a visit, like with an interview?
That's a real possibility.
He ain't going to waste his time if he's not seriously considering.
I was going to say, do you believe if he does that list of demands is kind of not true at that point from Harbaugh? Because why would he come here, right? If that is true, because that's not gonna work here.
Or they've given him some assurances that they can meet some of it, because they've all been talking. Yeah. But I do think that if he's first off, if he says that he's going to come take a visit here, that means there's real interest, real tangible, not just blowing smoke up the butt kind of interest from John Harbaugh, right? It's like legit, which is also a good sign for how someone like John Harbaugh would view the Tennessee Titans job in general. It also shows that all the hand-wringing and pitchfork carrying over how Amy Adams-Strunk has handled the entire power dynamics over the last 3 or 4 seasons, John Harbaugh still finds this an appealing destination, still finds that the ownership being around and who the ownership is the least appealing enough to come and find out more information.
Oh, yeah. I know that. Well, it's only 32.
Right.
Opportunity. So every time somebody says, it won't, it's always going to be appealing. And every NFL head coaching job is not that many of them, man. So it's an elite category of men to get that opportunity. So, I will be super elated. Matter of fact, I may be at the front door.
Let's do it. You pick him up from the airport.
We would do the show outside even. I would put on my jacket and the hoodie and earmuffs and everything.
No, that's a producer thing. I'll pick him up from the airport. I'll get a police escort put together because
he thinks he's going to interview for the head coaching job. You just bring him here at the studio.
I pick him up. He's like, "Who is this kid?"
We'll give you a little limo outfit with a little hat and a sign.
Little prep, before he does the
I'd be the most protected driver in Nashville that day.
Yeah, for me, it's just like, and Mike Tomlin is immediately a John Harbaugh-like candidate. Like, there's no doubt that if you like John Harbaugh, you're going to like Mike Tomlin. There's no doubt that if you are interested in John Harbaugh, you're going to be interested in Mike Tomlin. So, yeah, I mean, he would kind of jump up that list to be right there with John Harbaugh as top candidates out there, and the Titans would show interest. I just don't think there's going to be any kind of I just don't know what to make of this whole Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers situation at all. Like, there are reports that, he wants to stay. There are reports that if he leaves, he's leaving of his own volition. He's not going to be fired. And there's reports that he may get fired. Like, I just have no clue what's going to happen with Mike Tomlin. But I do know this. If he hit the market, the Titans should definitely be interested in Mike Tomlin. No doubt. I mean, just as you should be interested in John Harbaugh, there should be no reason not to be interested in Mike Tomlin. Did we answer all of Bam's questions?
I think a request for somebody else too.
Who?
I didn't know who that was.
My opinion on the Steelers is I think head coach and quarterback are very tied together with what happens this next year with them. I can't see Tomlin going anywhere else. I could see him leaving to do TV if Aaron Rodgers decides this is it. But I see if Rodgers wants to come back one more year, there have been more reports that they want him back, so they would run it back with the same, QB head coach combo.
Oh,
and Arthur Smith.
And probably Art, yeah.
He was talking about speedy. They feel like they're in wait and see mode, is what Bam said. I will say this: they don't interview Mike McCarthy in person till Saturday. They can't interview anybody that they've interviewed virtually, which would be guys like Jeff Hafley, Robert Saleh, Chris Shula, Jesse Minter, Art Smith, Matt Nagy, Steve Spagnuolo, Lou Anarumo. They can't interview those guys in person until January 19th. So I don't think they're in wait and see mode. They're really in just like we're beholden.
The fans are.
Yeah, we definitely are. We definitely are. But I don't think that the team is. Now, they technically, if they get through these virtual interviews this week and they say, we don't like any of these guys in virtual interviews, we're not going to bring them in person. With Mike McCarthy's conclusion on Saturday, they will have satisfied the Rooney Rule with doing in-person external minority interviews with Raheem Morris today and Mike McDaniel on Wednesday. They would have satisfied the Rooney Rule. So they could make a hire without going to a second round because they've done a lot of in-person interviews. I don't think that will be the case.
Right.
But just saying that they technically could if they don't find like a Jeff Hafley, Robert Saleh, Chris Shula, Jesse Minter kind of candidate this week that appealing to bring in. But I think until Mike McCarthy interviews on Saturday, you're not going to have any answers this week. I'd be very surprised if you have any answers between Wednesday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's say the Eagles let go of their head coach. Would you be interested in him? What's that, Sirianni?
Is he bringing Kevin Patullo in?
I think Kevin Patullo's getting let go. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't want him.
I think, but we all know how those conversations go. He says, I want to keep my guy.
Do you want to hear? Can you pull up the clip real quick that I sent you?
Oh, yeah, I'll pull it up. Give me a second.
Okay, so there's a kid that was interviewed on the news last night after the game, the Philadelphia 76ers. And when I say kid, he's probably 12, 13 maybe. Okay. Could be 11 or 10, but like he's in that 10 to 13
Eagles
age
fan.
range.
Like
Eagles
going through puberty.
Yeah, going through puberty. Eagles fan. And as soon as Ross pulls it up, we'll play the clip. But if he's already like this as an Eagles fan at this age, I cannot imagine what he's going to be just in a few more years. Because be like, those Eagles fans are crazy.
A little bit different now.
Yeah.
You got to remember now, Peterson won the Super Bowl. Wasn't it just 1 year after that they fired him?
No, 1 year after that, right?
1 year.
Was it actually?
I think it was.
I thought he was the coach in the COVID year, and then they fired him.
I may be wrong, but I
because they won the Super Bowl in 18.
That's the demand there. I mean, it is like that. And Lurie plays into that. They own her.
Oh, they're restless up there, man. They
They just won the Super Bowl last year.
Do you want to hear from this kid? Because this kid might be a pretty good indication of how they're all feeling.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, no, gosh dang. No, he had 3 more years.
He had 3 more years?
Yeah, he did.
Wasn't it the COVID year he got fired?
It was after
that?
2020.
Yeah.
He was right.
Because they were not good that year.
All right, now play this kid.
Yes, this was a huge letdown. This was my Christmas present, and I got a loss.
Oh, no. You probably would have rather had Cole, huh?
Yeah, probably. I'm feeling 2 of 2 things. A, I want A.J. Brown packing his bags, and I want him somewhere else that is not here. I love you, A.J., but, you can't make those drops in that game. And I also want Kevin Patullo flipping burgers at, the local McDonald's or something. I don't care.
Why do you say that?
Whenever he's an offensive coordinator, it's like he's flipping burgers. One side, he's cooking. One half he's cooking, and the other half is completely raw.
I love that kid. I love that kid. That is awesome. One half he's cooking, one half he's completely raw. He's already flipping burgers up there.
Well done.
Yeah, Sirianni is interesting because I just he's a winner, right? Dude wins.
Watch this. I don't know where he's at on win percentages in the playoffs and overall. Someone told me, a friend of mine from Philly, I won't name names, like Reese, but that he is top 15 of all time in wins. And I didn't want to say in overall or in the playoffs, but I was no way, really? So I don't know if that's true or not. So just thinking, a short window here, he has amassed some pretty decent amount of wins and success. I think it's the demand there in Philly is they should always be in the Super Bowl, let alone win one, man. And I don't know how that got started like that, but man. Oh, wow.
So he's got a .694 win percentage, so 69.4% of his games in regular season.
I would hope so.
And he's got a 60%, .600 win percentage in the playoffs. I mean, the dude's a winner. You cannot say that he's not a winner.
And where is he at overall on wins in NFL history as a head coach?
Well, he's got 59 wins. I don't know where that ranks in. That can't be that much. But his win percentage would be pretty high.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
So
that's cool and all. We don't
60%.
have Saquon and AJ and the best offensive line in the league over here. But
he didn't have Saquon till last year, and he went 14-3, 11-6 the previous 2 years without Saquon.
Yeah,
I'd pass on that one.
Listen, I get that people do not like Nick Sirianni. Totally understand.
He's got dudes on offense too now.
Yeah. I totally understand why people would be out on Nick Sirianni personality-wise. And I know that with all this stuff that goes on between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and all this stuff, totally understand. But the dude's a winner. I would at least be Sirianni curious. Is how
you got to be, yeah. If he was there.
I wouldn't be turning my nose up at Nick Sirianni if I'm the Tennessee Titans. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to go to Derek, Dustin, and Steve. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Zach Lyons. If you wear glasses, you already know the struggle. I'm constantly looking for them, waking up blind without them, knocking them off the nightstand, and don't even get me started on vacation. Swimming, forget it. Going fishing, have to keep them around my neck. Fogging up, smudges, scratches, my whole day revolves around these things so that I can see. And the truth is, I've been dealing with blurry vision for years. Glasses help, but they're also a hassle. And lately, I've been seriously thinking that there has to be a better way. That's when I started hearing from colleagues here at Cumulus who had vision correction done by Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. And every single one of them said the same thing. They wished they'd done it sooner. So I did my homework, I read the reviews, and decided it was time. I'm going to have my vision corrected by Dr. Horn later on in February, and I'll walk you guys through the experience step by step before, during, and after. If you're tired of dealing with glasses, contacts, or blurry vision, don't keep putting it off. Call Vision for Life at 615-436-2020 or visit visionforlife.com to schedule your consultation. I'll keep you posted, and trust me, I'm excited to finally see clearly. Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door and broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. And let's go to the phone, 615-737-1045. We appreciate all of our callers coming in and join us and, continue the conversation about the Titans and their head coaching search. Let's start off with Derek. Derek, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good. How are you?
Great.
You were touching on it earlier. You're talking about time and patience, and the most unbelievable thing for me is we don't have that anymore for head coaches or quarterbacks. I always go back. I've been in Nashville my whole life. I'm 57 years old. Steve McNair was my first quarterback. As a kid, I didn't have one. I rooted for other teams, but he was my first quarterback. But, watching him come in, take our time with him, develop him, make him, get him ready, and then the same thing with coaches. But I know the money that they're paying them and everything, that's just out the window. But I run restaurants for a living. Most of the time when I come in as a GM, I've got to rebuild a team. I've got to rebuild a menu. I've got to get the guests back. I've got to do everything. And that's not an instantaneous thing. And I'll finish with Vrabel. Guys, Vrabel, as soon as this New England position would have come open, would have been gone anyway. There's no way that he would have held on. Everyone knew that was to come up. That's where he was going to go to. So maybe it being a year earlier than it would have happened, but we would have lost him. He would have been moving on. Love hearing you guys. I'll talk to you all real soon.
Thanks, Derek. Listen, whoever the head coach is going to have a daunting task ahead of them. The roster is still young, up and coming. You have a lot of draft capital. You still have a lot of cap space to kind of mold. People are viewing this job as almost it's a blank canvas. And it sort of is to a certain extent. There's a lot of holes that need to be filled, specifically at cornerback, edge rusher. You need a right guard. You need some help everywhere. You need some wide receivers. Need a tight end. So maybe some running backs. Who knows? But so there is a lot to like about the job. But it's not just about the head coach. The second and most important question is, who is the play caller and what does your staff look like? Because you need a staff with a young team like this, a very experienced, adept at teaching kind of staff, especially because of how young this is. And that's the big question with all these guys. I can sit here and tell you who are some potential offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Doesn't mean they're going to hire them. Doesn't mean that's who they're going to be able to get and bring. Like Robert Saleh with Mike McDaniel. Robert Saleh is head coach. We saw it over the weekend and how he was able to be as a defensive coordinator with fourth and fifth string linebackers. Everywhere on the field is guys that are backups or undrafted free agents. And we saw what he was able to do. A, does that mean he could be a better head coach than what he was in New York? And B, who's his offensive coordinator? Who's the head coach of the offense? And that's the biggest thing and building out that staff is just as important as being head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That's it.
There you go. All right, let's go to Steve, who wants to talk about Harbaugh. Steve, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Well, Zach, you just answered the question I was going to propose to you first, okay?
Okay.
So I think the staff here, first of all, I think our roster sucks. I can't candy coat it, sugarcoat it, or make it seem any differently. It's bad, okay? But if you're so opposed to Sirianni, who's got like a 698 winning percentage, Harbaugh's like 638, I'll throw you another one. You don't like him either, but Jason Garrett's like 60. Why would you think Harbaugh, and I'm just going to throw it to you, he won one Super Bowl in 18 seasons, 5% of the time, right? He's bringing Monken with him, and you probably think you can keep Denard as your DC, but why is he on top of your list? Do you like Monken, and do you like, I'm trying to figure out what you want, because I've listened to all these shows, and it's like, oh, no, he's no good. Oh, he's good. I'd love that. He's no good. He's no good. Ramon would have Tony Bruschetti from Pearl Cone come coach him. Besides the fact that you got to have coordinators, and Blaine, you played in this league a long time. Like, that's the important part. But why are you so down on some of these other candidates? And Harbaugh, if he's only won one Super Bowl, why are you so up on him?
Thanks.
I'll let you go.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm not out on Sirianni. myself. Like, I mean,
well, I was just floating that idea.
Yeah,
because, you know, I don't think it's going to happen.
And I don't know if he's speaking in generalities or you to the fans or us
I thought
specifically.
He was talking about Harbaugh.
Yeah, but I mean, he says if you don't like Sirianni or you don't like Jason Garrett, why do you like John Harbaugh? You know, that kind of. And I understand. I mean, like, I like McCarthy. I'd be perfectly happy with McCarthy, who's in a similar situation to John Harbaugh. Now, this is his third stop, but this is a guy that's proven to have a very similar kind of career to John Harbaugh. Me personally, I like John Harbaugh because I've always liked John Harbaugh ever since he got hired. I thought he's shown to be an exceptional coach, an exceptional manager, in-game manager. I've found him to be just one of the, if not, he's one of the elite head coaches currently coaching in the NFL, in my mind. Now, I also like Mike McCarthy, and I think there's a lot of things you can say about John Harbaugh that you can say about Mike McCarthy, and the one thing you can say different is that Mike McCarthy calls plays. You'll never have to worry about an offensive system. But I like John Harbaugh, and speaking of John Harbaugh, Mike Garafolo just threw out there in a tweet, as we wait for John Harbaugh to finalize his interviews, sources say he likes what he sees in the Titans. Cam Ward, $100 million in cap space, high picks, new stadium, general manager Mike Merganzi. Not saying he's going to Tennessee, just that for now I expect them to be firmly in the mix. I don't know who's leaking that to him or anything, but again, until he actually says he's coming to interview, I'm trying my best not to get my hopes up.
Yeah, he got to be on the plane, and we tracking it. That for me, I don't know if he's trying to leverage that to, someone else up in the ante or something like that. So I have no idea. But typically, when you're in this situation, things like that don't get leaked. So,
yeah,
so it was purposely. Now, why? You never know the answer to that. But yeah, at least it's a possibility because he's putting it out there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if it was Albert Breer tweeting that, I would say that's from Mike Berganzi. Mike Garafolo, I don't know who his guy is.
Maybe his agent.
But I mean, it is something that is another little bit layer. But I kind of agree with you. What you said earlier in the episode was kind of feels like Harbaugh may be using the Titans as leverage.
Yeah, I think so.
And I could see that. And that happens. Sometimes you're used and abused as an NFL team.
Leverage could then turn into, y'all became the team.
Yeah. Because all it takes, listen,
it can change now.
Even if you're being used, kind of like how the Titans,
just negotiating,
could be wowed by Chris Shula, even though they may have their mind made up that they definitely want John Harbaugh, that they could be wowed by Chris Shula. The same could be said that they could wow John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh could be wowed by them and be like, oh, well, yeah, I kind of was using you as leverage. I won't tell you guys that, but in his head.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And no, you guys are legit. You guys have a legit setup that I think that we could turn this thing around fairly quickly, to your point. Yeah. It will be interesting to see.
I got to wait because, boy, if I'll start tap dancing.
Like,
I'll start tap dancing, spin on my back like I've never done before.
Because then, what's going to happen is that we're all going to get our hopes up about that one interview. And then, because then it's going to be like this.
Reverse psychology right here for me.
I'm waiting to see if he even has real interest in Tennessee. So I'm waiting. I'm not going to see it till I believe it till he puts in the interview request. And then for him to actually be Tennessee Titans head coach, I'm going to have to see it to believe it. I have to temper my expectations or my mind is going to run wild and I'm going to be sorely disappointed. Inconsolable, you might be able to say.
Hey. Oh, man, it can't get any better if it gets
because you're getting arguably the best coaching candidate this cycle. After getting the best GM candidate last cycle that nobody thought you could get. And I'll be honest, I said that no way Harbaugh is going to be interested in the Tennessee Titans. And I know he's been watching film. He's been in constant contacts with his staff and whatever staff he may bring. It may not even be Todd Monken, right? I like Todd Monken, but it may not even be Todd Monken. But he's got plans or ideas in place and generating and all that kind of stuff. But I would be ecstatic. If it's ever announced, John Harbaugh, coach of the Tennessee Titans, I better not be in front of a live mic because there will be a lot of cussing and celebrating, bleeping, and all that kind of stuff because I'll be ecstatic.
Well, and this the dude, too, is he's got all the leverage right now. Because I would argue, and I know we don't know every team's inner workings, but that any team would pick him above any of these other candidates as head coach right now. So if he picks Tennessee, again, not saying it's going to happen, but if he does, that says a lot about this organization and what he sees in it.
That says so much about what the actual NFL perception is versus the perception of media and perception of local media, national media, and fans of this team is. Yeah. Because I've always said the NFL, what is said out in the media in general and was said by fans is not always the reality of what happens inside the NFL.
I'd say it's usually not, honestly.
It's usually not. Because the NFL is such a unique structure of it to itself. Is like, again, if Harbaugh even just gives you the time of day, I mean, he is having to, now listen, it's not that strenuous to fly on a private jet, to get taken out to dinner, to sit in a meeting for like 12 hours or whatever it is. That's not that big of a deal. But the fact that he's taken the time of his schedule to do that shows a genuine interest in my mind.
Yeah. How about that?
Look, we're getting way too excited. We got to quit talking about it.
I'm just saying, man, when he say that flight is on the way, I'm like, okay, what are we doing not to let him leave?
Right. Exactly. And it'll be interesting to see when they schedule that, right? Because, I mean, if they schedule it after Wednesday, which technically, I mean, today we're in the days in a Monday. More than likely, it's going to be after Wednesday, after Mike McDaniel. And then we get word that they're canceling Mike McCarthy's interview on Saturday. I think we can then start getting a little bit excited about John Harbaugh. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, boy, if that happens.
Ooh, buddy. We're getting way too excited.
Sometimes I dream.
Just let it go. Just let it go. We gotta. I will say, because you mentioned about how he could potentially be using this for leverage. If he is, I don't think that's the worst thing. I mean, obviously you want John Harbaugh if you can get him, but like he wouldn't use this place for leverage if he didn't feel like it wasn't worth anything either, because then he wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah.
So I think whatever ends up happening, John Harbaugh has a good view of this organization, which would make me believe that other people around the NFL have a better view of this organization than you would think.
I think they do. I mean, with or without Harbaugh taking an interview, I think they do have a better view of this situation as it currently sits now. Because I do think people think that highly of Mike Bergonzi. That seems to be the general case. But you also have a quarterback in place that's shown enough to make you excited. You kind of have a blank canvas, and you have $100 million in cap space. And you have, what was it? I think I saw the other day, the 4th or 5th best set of draft picks in the NFL in terms of value. So you got a lot going for it. I never thought this was as bad of a situation to walk into as other people did. Now, I think you could argue New York Giants have the allure of the city, the big market, and all that kind of stuff. And I think that you could argue Atlanta has a little bit more of a head start in roster, and you got a general manager you could possibly come in with. But I do think that Tennessee Titans have been in that top 3 this whole time. You could put them at 1, you could put them at 2, you could put them at 3, and I wouldn't really bicker with you.
Now, would this buy Bergonzi time, or would he get a second shot? Let's just say whoever they hire, experienced or non-experienced, they're middling. And let's say in 3 years they say, we're going to go in a different direction. Does Bergonzi get the second go-round for the second, time go-round with a coach?
Okay, well, here's one. Let's just, this is getting tweeted out right now, and this was kept in silence for this whole time. The Ravens just completed their interview with John Harbaugh.
Falcons.
Sorry, the Falcons, yeah.
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons. That's being tweeted right now. The Falcons are announcing we have interviewed John Harbaugh for a head coach opening. So that came out of nowhere. See? So that was in the shadow of night. Nobody had that they had even scheduled this. So interesting.
Well, the tweet came out about the Titans. Came out today too, right?
Right.
It came out 10, 15 minutes ago. And the Falcons thing just came.
Yeah.
So now you got to see what the Falcons do, because remember, like we said earlier, they don't have a GM, and some of the Harbaugh stuff, we don't know if it's true or not, the rumors of what he wants. Yeah. Like, if this is what he sees fit, because he could bring in his guy, you could start seeing them do the stuff you were just talking about with us. So
that is definitely one. I mean, the Falcons' official
team Twitter
account's the one that broke it. Not Ian Rappaport, not Adam Schefter, not any of those guys. It was the team account, which means they kept that thing under wraps. That's hard to do.
Does he have a relationship with Arthur Blank somewhere down the road?
Well, I'm sure they just probably have, being that he's been a head coach for 18 years and Arthur Blank's been around for forever. I'm sure he has kind of like a semi-relationship with almost everybody.
He was probably talking to Matt Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real relationship there. Other than they drafted Joe Flacco. Matt Ryan was the same draft class, right? If they were probably scouting Joe Flacco and interviewing Joe Flacco, they were probably doing the same with Matt Ryan.
What pick was Flacco? I
thought they were pretty close.
08 draft.
It was the 08, both of them, right?
Ryan, he was the top 10.
Matt Ryan was drafted 3rd to the Falcons. Flacco was 18th to the Ravens.
18th.
Wow.
I also kind of wonder, would Harbaugh be open to adding someone from his, adding someone that he doesn't have a relationship to the offensive coordinator position? Because, would he be interested in maybe bringing on Matt Nagy or bringing on, and let's just get wild here, Mike McDaniel?
Well, he could be Nagy because of the Andy Reid tree and Harbaugh part of that, so he would have a good insight there on Nagy.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a strong chance he would keep Denard? I know you touched on it earlier. Do y'all think there is a real chance that would happen?
I think with John Harbaugh, there's a real chance, but I don't know if anybody else. I mean, I don't know really what all went wrong on the defense. How much of it is Zach Orr's fault? There's also Anthony Weaver that's floating out there as well that he has a good working and long relationship with, a little bit longer than Denard Wilson. I just making a connection, it's possible, but I don't know if that's really going to happen.
But wasn't the DC job open when Denard left there?
I think it came open. Yeah.
I'm just trying to put a time. I could be wrong, but they chose somebody else over him. Now, not to say that you can't go back and now choose him, but for whatever reason, they may have chose someone else because that's what they.
Yeah, because they went with Zach Orr, and I don't know because it went from Mike McDonald in 2023 with Denard Wilson to Zach Orr, and then that was also the year that Brian Callahan hired Denard Wilson here.
And Denard has interviewed with the Commanders. Has he interviewed anywhere else yet?
No.
Okay.
Which he actually had a relationship. He worked there before and was a player there and tore his ACL there as a rookie, undrafted free agent out of Maryland.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, obviously every coach is, and we've talked about this before, every coach, head coach.
Start his coaching career.
Yeah. Every head coach is going to take into heavy consideration keeping Bones Fossil on.
That's a no-brainer for me. I may fall out this year if that did.
What would you have a bigger reaction to if we got Harbaugh or if Harbaugh said he didn't want Fossil on the staff?
Ooh.
Probably still us getting Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember now, Harbaugh's background when he was in Philly was his specialty was the special team.
So it's like you get shot, but you're smiling.
Yeah.
Okay, anything to the timing of Mike Garafolo's tweet that I read earlier about the Titans being 15 minutes ago, and then the Falcons announcing 3 minutes ago that they interviewed John Harbaugh. Is there anything that maybe he left the Falcons as I don't really know about the Falcons, and maybe I'm going to get this message out there?
I like a lot of things, but I want to push the envelope.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm getting. I want to push the envelope here. I know I can get them. I'm just going to go visit the Titans.
Yeah. Now I want to, leverage. I mean, this is what all coaches do, by the way.
Negotiation.
Yeah, just negotiating. Okay, I've been there. You guys love me, but now I'm kind of interested in Tennessee Titans. They got $100 million in cap space. 4th overall pick, Cam Ward.
Yeah, it could have been one thing that he's like, I think they should have gave me that. That one there. I think I pretty much earned that one. And so it could be just that one little thing. And they say, we'll think about it, you know. And he's like, okay, well, I'll think about another job.
Hey, there you go. 615-737-1045. We'll go to Marcus coming up next. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Marcus!
Hey, it's Zach Lyons. If you wear glasses, you already know the struggle. I'm constantly looking for them, waking up blind without them, knocking them off the nightstand, and don't even get me started on vacations. Swimming, forget it. Going fishing, have to keep them around my neck. Fogging up, smudges, scratches, my whole day revolves around these things so that I can see. And the truth is, I've been dealing with blurry vision for years. Glasses help, but they're also a hassle. And lately, I've been seriously thinking that there has to be a better way. That's when I started hearing from colleagues here at Cumulus who had vision correction done by Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. And every single one of them said the same thing. They wished they'd done it sooner. So I did my homework, I read the reviews, and decided it was time. I'm going to have my vision corrected by Dr. Horn later on in February, and I'll walk you guys through the experience step by step before, during, and after. If you're tired of dealing with glasses, contacts, or blurry vision, don't keep putting it off. Call Vision for Life at 615-436-2020 or visit visionforlife.com to schedule your consultation. I'll keep you posted, and trust me, I'm excited to finally see clearly. Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here at 104.5 The Zone, powered by all four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. You're just tuning in. Atlanta Falcons have already conducted and completed their interview with John Harbaugh.
What?
Nobody knew about it other than those in the building. So great job on not only Harbaugh's camp, but also the Falcons camp.
That's like a government operation.
That is a government operation.
Man, he's working in silence now. Uh-oh.
Now
Has
Adam
he already been
Schefter-
to the Titans?
Well, Adam
Is he
Schefter
on his
here.
way? I mean, what?
You can tell Adam
Schefter's got
Schefter's a
some news.
little miffed that he didn't get it. And how I'm reading the tweet, he's
What?
like a little annoyed that he didn't know about this.
He's upset.
And he's saying, while the Falcons announced an official interview with former Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, he already has been conducting preliminary and extensive phone calls with the Giants, Titans, Browns, Raiders, and Cardinals, per sources. He is trying to determine who to meet with later this week and into next week before making a decision. He's fully expected to coach in 2026.
You did say Titans, didn't you?
I did say Titans. They were number 2 after the Giants. I don't know if there's anything to that. If the order that he presents these names in are the order of maybe how it's happening. But I would say this, if you're already in Atlanta, it'd be very easy to come over here and conduct a secondary secret interview with the Tennessee Titans. 'Cause wouldn't you rather just go from there to here rather than go from there to New York then back down to here? I would think that would be the proper way to do it.
Or he might say, hey, I might go south, go to Miami.
Someone's calling John Harbaugh in the chat, Bustin' Diamonds calling him Johnny Tight Lips. Johnny Tight Lips Harbaugh. All right, let's go to the phone. 615-737-1045. Let's go to Marcus. Marcus, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
They say loose lips sink ships, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Well, all he did was conduct an interview. I had a lot of interviews last year, and I still didn't get the job. So, you know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say about that. I had 37 interviews from October to November, and they told me, we aren't going to go another direction.
Yeah.
So,
You didn't keep tight lips, though.
Hey, not after that 37. I told him, no, he call me back no more. But, man, I'll tell you right now, anybody come to Nashville, they don't never want to leave Nashville. Get that boy some prison chicken and some Slim and Husky pizza, and I'm gonna tell you, he ain't going nowhere. I'm telling you, Harbaugh's gonna be here, man. He's gonna be here. Y'all don't worry about it. Blade, I miss you, dog. I miss the CEO Sunday. I don't get to talk to somebody else, but Blade is always standing right there. He always talk to me. Blade, you my dog, dog. You always be my dog.
Appreciate it, man.
I think Harbaugh's gonna be here, man. All he did was conduct the interview. Atlanta, if they really did something, dog, it would be more than that. You know what I'm saying? It would be more than that little. All we had an interview with them. Yeah, they try to scare everybody off. You see what I'm saying?
Ooh, okay.
No, we ain't going nowhere.
Right.
How you gonna get John Harbaugh?
All right. Is there some Harbaugh Matty Ice connection somewhere? Maybe
the only thing we could think of was like the 2008, draft class. If you're in the quarterback market, you obviously had a lot of conversations with the quarterbacks in that draft class.
Didn't play him a lot.
No, yeah.
I know Shanahan was on that staff, right? When they went to the Super Bowl, he was
Kyle Shanahan was, yeah. Dan Quinn, Kyle Shanahan. I don't believe I was looking at today. I'm trying to think of who else was there. I can't think of any of the coaches that I saw today that would have had a strong relationship or working relationship with Matt Ryan. Now, obviously, when Matt Ryan was playing for Atlanta in Athens, Todd Monken was OC, but I don't think that's a real strong connection you could pin your hat on. I would think the strongest connection is you've been coaching as a head coach for 18 years, Arthur Blank and him have probably crossed paths and had conversations at ownership meetings and all that kind of. But I do think that Atlanta's, they went 8-9 this year with injuries at quarterback and subpar quarterback play. That roster's ready to win.
Couple more pieces and boom.
Right. I know they don't have first round pick, but sometimes it's not as attractive as having a ready-made roster, especially with the GM position still open. And while the GM may not, I don't know really if their power structure is the same as what was with Chad Brinker and Mike Berganzi with President of Football Operations Matt Ryan. But if you could still find if John Harbaugh can hire a GM that he trusts, the power dynamic is with you two. It's not necessarily with Matt Ryan.
Yes, very true.
So we'll see. I don't know. I cannot believe that we're here at the end of this show and I'm starting to buy. I was dead in the water. Like, one of the things I texted you guys for the show is like, am I being a Grinch about John Harbaugh? Because I'm like, there's no shot. Now I'm like, oh, the little hope is starting to spring up. A little bit of ray of light.
He keeps teasing us, man.
I know. I want to know that we are getting for sure an interview.
Teasers.
Need it.
I like teaser. When you was in a dating game, Ross, did you like the teaser girl or just the one that's like, yeah, no, you my guy?
Just let me know what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that just this new world on social media?
I don't know. I mean, but he's 63. Does that, I mean.
He's learning the game.
He's learning the game.
He's learning the game.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
At the same time, though, is he teasing? I mean, he just pulled off a covert operation to do an interview in Atlanta with no one finding out about it.
I know, but I wouldn't have told anybody. I would have kept that. I would have kept it on the
Well, like, they've got to report an interview, right?
No, but yeah, eventually. It doesn't say when you have to do it. You can say it like next week.
They want those interactions on social media. They're reporting it right away.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Atlanta Falcons are probably thinking, we're the first, so we're going to put it out there. We're number one. We were his number one choice is how I'd be spinning it with the Atlanta Falcons. I wonder what Atlanta radio did when that news broke. Because I wonder if they even knew. And I would love to have heard some. I'm going to have to see if I can find some reactions to the news when it broke on the air. But, man.
I wonder how jacked up they are about that. You think they're pumped up down there about it?
Oh, man, surely, right? I mean, like, I know that there's like a small segment of probably every fan base that's probably like, oh, well, John Harbaugh, he's an underachiever, or he's not that good, or blah, 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 blah. I know that there's probably like a small, like, I mean, I had at least 3 in the replies.
You're so true. That's just your face.
Well, we got that call.
Yeah. Well, that's how I picture them looking.
I know.
He said he's only won. That caller earlier said he's only won 1 Super Bowl in 18 years. That's awful.
But no, he was kind of saying like, no.
Has the Titans won?
Yeah. He was saying he was using it as a comparison of like, why don't you guys want Jason Garrett or why don't you guys want this guy?
Yeah.
He wasn't. I think he's on board with John Harbaugh, but he's just saying, like, if he's your number one guy, why aren't these other guys?
Gotcha. I still think, though, there's going to be people that are like, he's only won 1 in 18 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, there's always going to be those people who just don't know ball.
Yeah.
I think that's just the best way to, let's classify them as non-ball knowers. Because John Harbaugh is a proven winner. It is so hard to win a Super Bowl. Oh, and I know that, we come saying that off the heels of the greatest of all time quarterback and one of the greatest of all time coaches and the Patriots winning like 7 or 8 of them. But like they are truly really hard to win. And are you saying that Sean Payton's an underachiever? Are you saying that Mike McCarthy's an underachiever? Is Nick Sirianni an underachiever? They're all pretty high in win percentages, proven winners. And it's all about getting to the dance, right? You have to get to the dance to even win Homecoming King, to win Homecoming Queen. You can't get there and win those things without actually being at the dance.
I just want you to start tracking that jet.
You need to start finding it. I need to figure out what John Harbaugh's jet is. I'm sure he's using his own. He's probably got his own jet, right?
He's rubbing it in your nose, man, because you can't track him.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows.
All right, that will do it for us. 3HL's up next. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time, peace.